Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the 2013-14 Annual Giving Training. Would a few of you please just drop us a quick note underneath the questions box so that we know that you could hear us? That would be great. My name is Mary Ellen Walsh, and I'm here today with my colleague, Monica Spears. We are both Fund Development Managers located in the Pleasantville office. This webinar will provide an overview of the annual giving campaign and its importance. And hopefully it'll give you some extra insight as to why we work so hard to increase the participation of our membership in the campaign. If you have any questions, make a note of it, and at the end of the presentation there will be a question and answer period, and we'll address the questions at that point and send out all of the questions and answers from today's daytime webinar and tonight's webinar to all the participants over the next few days. Okay, so here's our training agenda with all of the topics that we're going to go over this evening. Again, if you have any questions about the topics here or anything not listed, make a note and we'll discuss it at the end. So let's get right into it. Why annual giving? As with any organization, a strong base of financial resources are key to operation. As a nonprofit, Girl Scouts, Heart of the Hudson, receives none of its budget from state appropriations. We must rely on private giving, product sales, and corporate donor revenue to make up the majority of our current budget. As support from corporate entities and product sales sources decreases, private support from parents, alumni, friends, and the local community and businesses play an increasingly significant role in the support of Girl Scouts Heart of the Hudson. Our members' financial support provides more than simply the extras not available through other sources of funding. It truly is critical for our success and the survival of our organization. Gifts from the community members and yours translate into critical unrestricted dollars for financial assistance to girls in need, volunteer background checks and training, new equipment, programs, property and building maintenance, and countless other important needs. In many cases, the contributions provide educational and leadership opportunities that otherwise would not be available. Fundraising is an adult responsibility. As a 501c3 nonprofit, a large portion of our funds must come from donations. Additionally, as many of you know, it costs GSHH on average $210 per girl to provide a full year of Girl Scouting. Many other organizations that offer activities to youth charge sizable membership fees. We've resisted doing this. Some might not know that the $15 membership fee that we collect goes directly to GSUSA to cover the cost of insurance, program development, and other services provided by the national organization. It's not retained by our council. That is such an important factor to get through to the parents to make sure that they know this. Currently, no girl is charged a quote-unquote membership fee to participate in the GSHH Council, and that's a decision that has been made by the GSHH Board of Directors. And in fact, without the financial support of our member families, we couldn't qualify for other funding from foundations and support the activities of our girls. Funders want to know that the members of the organization financially support the organization, and then they'll support us. So without all of our members contributing to GSHH through annual giving, we would have to face many difficult decisions for future program years. So bottom line, we need the help of all of our member families. Okay, how can your service unit help? As we mentioned before, it costs on average $210 per girl per year for a full year of Girl Scouting. These dollars include a lot of expenses that many families wouldn't know about. Again, the background checks, training and support for our volunteer troop leaders, providing camp opportunities for girls who couldn't normally afford the fees, and offering council-wide events throughout our jurisdiction for all age levels. Again, no girl is charged a membership fee. This slide shows some ways that your service unit can help the council by reaching out to local businesses, by coordinating special events within your service unit, and reaching out to friends, family, alumni. And think about it. Don't just take on this role yourself. We know that it's often the same leader taking on all the jobs. So perhaps you might think about asking other leaders or spouses of the leaders who might be the annual giving chair for you, so you don't have to wear all the many hats that you do. Perhaps there's a leader who has aged out because her daughter is off to college. Or maybe there's a girl 18 or older who was a former Girl Scout or former Gold awardee who may be attending a local college and still wants to be involved. Don't feel that running this campaign, it's all on you. Try to be creative in who can help you. Just remember that the person needs to be registered, needs to be over 18, and that's something that you could definitely do. Moving on, Girl Scouts Heart of the Hudson relies on philanthropic contributions from individuals, grants from corporate and private foundations, as well as support from public entities. Additionally, we count on fundraising activities such as our product sales, including the girls' well-known cookie program, the fall product sale that we're in right now, to help fund activities. Other income includes program fees, investments, and merchandise sales from our retail and online shops. As you can see from this grid, which comes from our 2011-2012 annual report, only 2% of our funds came from annual giving. That percentage is very low. It should be more in the 20% range. In this department, we work really hard to help our membership see the need for their philanthropic gifts. We have to help them realize, with your help, that the same financial support they provide to so many other organizations and organizations that are worthy, like sports clubs, dance clubs, Little League, cheerleading, siblings who belong to Boy Scouting, etc. Their financial support also needs to be shared with Girl Scouts. We're literally a year-round program, and the family really needs to understand this, and we need your help to deliver this message. It's crucial that we have 100% participation from our membership, and that means that every adult, parent, or caregiver or guardian has been given the chance, the opportunity to give. It means that the self-mailer brochure, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, has to be put into the hands of each girl's guardian with a positive, upbeat, and serious explanation of why annual giving is so important. It means that the person delivering the message understands, believes, and has supported the campaign, and is not saying, oh, I'm sorry, they're making me give you this. It needs to be someone who truly believes and puts their money where their mouth is. Okay, next screen. How does your family giving dollars, how your family giving dollars were used in the year that we just ended? Before we get into this in too much detail, it's important to know that the vast majority of the dollars we spend each year go directly to support our mission of serving girls. Our management and general operating expenses, as well as our fundraising expenses, are a very small percentage of our resource allocations. Virtually every dollar we raise goes right back into programming. This is what a nonprofit is supposed to do. This is what we're chartered to do. And really, we do quite a good job at it. While general operating expenses are a normal part of a business and cannot be avoided, anyone who makes a gift to Girl Scouts Heart of the Hudson can be assured that the money they contribute is supporting the behind-the-scenes costs of the items broken down in this chart. Now, if you look at this chart, the overall annual giving goal for our council this past year was $250,000. And the breakdown here is in blue. The dollars that we brought in, the breakdown in blue is where the dollars were going this past Girl Scout year, and in green it's what we had brought in as of July 31st. This is really important to share with the parents and guardians in your service unit, and this chart is on the back of the self-mailing brochure. For instance, do they even know that every single registered adult is background checked when they join Girl Scouts? Yes, they are, and that costs money. Then these same adults are background checked again on a scheduled basis for the years they are members. In fact, Monica and I were just background checked again. And you know, we're like, hey, we did this, but our names were up, and it was time to check us again. So anyway, that costs money, and annual giving funds support these costs. And in some cases, the dollars we bring in from annual giving don't even touch the tip of the iceberg for the cost of keeping this organization in business. So what is annual giving? There probably still exists some confusion among our membership about what the annual giving campaign is. In a nutshell, it's an adult-focused campaign that is an essential part of our financial structure. It's vital to our council's future success, not only helping defray costs and future planning, but also in obtaining grants. To be eligible for funding, grantors want to know that they will invest in an organization whose membership supports them. Annual giving has three components, as the bottom part of this grid shows you. The Family Partnership Campaign, or the Family Annual Giving Campaign, the Local Business Connection Campaign, and special events. Service units are given target goals for the Family Partnership Campaign and a combined goal for reaching out to businesses within your service unit and or running a special event campaign within your service unit. The goals are in the formulation process right now, and they'll be going out to the service unit manager and the annual giving chair by mid-October. The goals this year are set up so that the service unit family giving goal will be the same as last year, unless the family giving was below a $5 per girl average. If the service unit did not reach that $5 per girl average, we will need to lift up the numbers to that level. Okay, as mentioned before, the Family Partnership Campaign is an adult-focused fundraising program. We ask that the parents, guardians, family members, friends, and supporters make a conscious decision, a stretch, something from their heart, to provide a financial gift to the council. It's focused on those most vested in seeing our council succeed, meaning the caregivers of the girls who benefit so significantly from what Girl Scouting has to offer. No one believes in the potential of a girl more than her family. It's her family who invests in the girl every day. Girl Scouts Heart of the Hudson shares this vision and offers the Girl Scout leadership experience to girls, helping them discover their full potential. But we need the financial support of every family who has a daughter in Girl Scouting to help provide the vital unrestricted funds. I know we've said this a lot, but it's something that we really need our membership to know. What the campaign isn't. There's some misconceptions about what the family campaign really is and the method of raising funds. Take a moment and look at the list on the screen. These methods of raising or giving money are not annual giving, and we really need you to clarify these points. While the things listed are ways to increase troop and service unit funds, none of them should be substituted for the family giving campaign. Each family has to be given the opportunity to make a decision to support the council. While some of the above may increase donated dollars, they're not appropriate family giving options. So, the key point, don't assume a family will not donate. Take the steps necessary to ask them to donate, okay? And one very important thing, a leader donating troop funds on behalf of each girl from a troop is really not annual giving. The girls have worked so hard to earn that money, and very much through our fall product sales and cookie program, it really needs to stay in the troop and be used for their activities. So, the local business campaign or the small business campaign, it's a concerted effort by the service unit team members to garner the support from local businesses. bagel stores, dry cleaners, maybe small branches of an insurance office, salons, the pizza place, businesses that you might use a lot. You might order pizza a lot, you know, for meetings perhaps, or troop events. So perhaps designate one leader or volunteer from every troop to take on the task of reaching out to one of these small businesses. If a service unit chooses to do a letter campaign, follow up. A sample local business letter is included in the training brochure that Monica and I sent as an attachment when we invited you all to this webinar. Use that sample letter, personalize it, send it out to your troop members to perhaps each reach out to a small business, or deliver it in person, but definitely do follow up. And this year, by the way, all donors who contribute $50 or more, whether it be a business or an individual, will receive a Girl Scouts Heart of the Hudson cling that says Proud Supporter. The special event campaign is when a service unit runs an event within your jurisdiction, and the funds from the event are donated in total to the council. Up on the screen are but a few ideas of many, many different things that you could do. When you're planning the event, remember to follow the rules and guidelines outlined in How to Raise Money and Volunteer Essentials, and all of the safety risk checklist items that are within that resource as well. They're all found underneath Leader Resources on our website. To meet this goal, you can add an event onto your yearly calendar, or you might even designate an event that already exists as the event that's specifically for annual giving. So, you know, brainstorm with us, call Monica, call me, talk among yourselves, and we could help you come up with something. Maybe even the way you reach out to businesses involves the special event. Okay, ways to increase your giving. All of these items up on the screen are probably very familiar to you, and at least the top two can be organized with the family member, the donor, and their human resource department at work. Pledges are something that you could run through our department. There's a place to check that off on the self-mailer brochure. Pledges must be a minimum of $100. And it allows the person to spread their donation over a period of time and perhaps make a larger gift than normal. Pledges can be weekly, monthly, or yearly. A thank you note goes out at the end of the pledge. And it just might work, especially with, you know, this economy, for a particular family who really wants to do this. Maybe they have multiple children and this works for them. This lists the family campaign position responsibilities within your service unit. As you see, most of you on the phone are either service unit manager, the annual giving chair, perhaps a troop chair or a troop leader, or maybe even the person who's running the business portion of the campaign or the special event portion of the campaign. The service unit or annual giving chair oversees all of the activities, establishes the timeline and deadline dates, identifies and trains the troop chairs or the leaders, distributes all the material, and at this point, Monica and I are really pleased that most of the boxes of self-mailer brochures have been picked up by all the service units. And the service unit manager or the annual giving chair, or perhaps even the treasurer from your service unit, collects and deposits all of the funds into the TD bank account that's designated for annual giving. And the deposit slips, by the way, were attached to all the boxes of this year's materials. The troop family campaign chair or the troop leader makes sure that all the materials are given directly into the hands of the parents or caregivers. They stress the need of the campaign in a very positive way. They follow up, they collect the forms, they don't open them up. There is a confidentiality issue here. They use the troop tally form, which is one of the many forms that we've made up for your convenience that are in the training brochure and also on our website. They use that form to see that all of their parents have, given the forms back to them, the self-mailer brochures, and then they give those self-mailers back to the service unit annual giving chair or the service unit manager, who opens them and does the deposits. And finally, the family makes their decision. And it's important that no girl is denied participation as a Girl Scout if her family is not able to make a donation. One little thought before we move on to the next screen. If the leadership team supports annual giving, then the leaders will and the families will, or at least there's a better chance that they will. Who better to say to the families, I know we give our blood, sweat, and tears and personal resources to our girls, our local service unit, and our troop. Look at the many hats I'm wearing. But there is an organization behind us who needs to keep lights on, who needs to do the snow blowing at our camps, the council. So please, that's where the dollars go. I've given this amount. I hope you can at least consider doing something that you feel comfortable with as well. So that's just a suggestion. Okay, now we're going to talk about the actual campaign that you're going to run. Our Girl Scout year and our campaign year goes from October 1st through September 30th. So technically you have the whole year, but we're asking you to please conduct your family campaign this year, if possible, between October 1st and December 31st. The reason why we're asking you this is so that we can then do follow-up for you in the early winter to all the families who perhaps have not given as yet. And many families will want to give before the end of this year because of tax purposes. And again, the number one reason many parents and families don't support the Family Partnership Campaign is because they haven't been asked and they're not aware of it. So plan early, set a timeline, look at what your service unit is doing, and slot it in. Set training dates for your troop chairs. Send reminders out along the way. And again, we're recommending that the campaign be run between October and December of this year. Keep it short and sweet so that it doesn't get forgotten. After the fall product sale and before the cooking campaign, and when people may want to make the donation for year-end tax purposes. A good time to perhaps even highlight this is around Thanksgiving, when people are often altruistic. Consider the newly coined Giving Tuesday, which comes right after Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and Cyber Monday. It could be a great time to launch your family campaign. Maybe you might even want to have a one-day blitz on Giving Tuesday. So again, food for thought. Any adult can help, encourage participation, and make it fun. These are all the campaign materials that are encompassed within our annual giving training brochure, which is online, and once again was an attachment to the webinar invitation for this evening. Our business director here at Girl Scouts Heart of the Hudson is little by little migrating all of the current forms onto the Leader Resources section of our website. So by the end of this week, all of these pieces will be there, and they're also within the training brochure, okay? One important thing is to use the sample parent letter. It's something that you could tailor to your own words, put it with the self-mailer brochure if you haven't given them out yet, or send it as a follow-up in an email blitz, or even do two different letters, one from you to the troop leader, and give the troop leader more of a personalized letter to include with the self-mailer brochures to the families. It's up to you, whatever works best within your service unit. Okay, here come a few slides with important notes, and many of them you know because we're speaking to the most involved people, the busiest people. All volunteers handling annual giving funds must be registered. Checks should be made out to Girl Scouts Heart of the Hudson or GSHH. please include your 3-digit service unit code on all correspondence. It just helps Monica and I move through things quickly, as well as our admin. And ask for email addresses all the time. We're staying as green as possible. We send thank you letters for donations via email for all donations under $50. Without the email address, the donor will not receive a thank you letter. Emails also give us an effective way to communicate with the donor and keep them informed. Remind the leaders, the troop chairs, to please, 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 please completely fill out that self-mailer form with the donor's full name, not the girl's name as the donor. Okay, again, stress the need for those email addresses. Again, the donor name is the adult, not the child. And make deposits and forward the paperwork to Monica and myself or our admin, Gloria, here in Fund Development in Pleasantville promptly. It's okay if you do it every time you receive money from one troop. We're happy to see that everything's gotten into the bank promptly. Look through the return self-mailers, and again, this will be the service unit manager or the annual giving chair because of confidentiality, and put the donations that are $50 and above and the credit cards, if you can, on the top of the pile when you send it in to us, so that we can make sure that those credit cards are processed right away and that the larger donors are thanked right away. Another reminder, as I said before, thank you letters are sent for email donations under $49. Donations $50 and above receive a real live in the mail thank you letter. Donations will be credited to the general service unit account, if you will, if they are received without the full address information. So yes, your service unit will get credit, but if we don't have that self-mailer completely filled out, it's going to be credited just to the service unit. Don't forget to use the TD Bank annual giving deposit slips. Every once in a while, annual giving money shows up in a cookie bank account. And remember, troop money is for girl programming. The distribution process, we're in the middle of it now. For the most part, all of the service units have received the box with your self-mailers. If you've not received yours yet and you've not been in touch with me or Monica, give us a buzz. We'll make sure that you get the materials. They contain counts based on this past May's program year's numbers with a fractional percentage of additional pieces. Taped on top is an envelope with all of your deposit slips. If you need any extra pieces, by the end of this week, again on our website, there'll be PDFs of that self-mailer brochure that you could use as an attachment in your email, or you could print it out as a one-page flyer. That way, if you do have new troops that join you throughout the year, it's something that you could shoot out to them in an email right away. Again, an important reason to collect email addresses. Here are all the pieces that are in that training brochure and that are also online as of the end of this week. As I mentioned earlier, our business operations director is every day, little by little, putting the updated versions of these letters and forms with current dates onto the website and pulling down last year's. Once again, it's a question of educating the parents, letting them know the importance of annual giving. Here are all our information and pieces. Can you tell we're proud of them? The service unit annual giving chair have received that 28-page brochure in an attachment. That's also going to be on our website by the end of this week. Within that brochure are all the forms and letters, frequently asked question pages, how to talk and have good talking points if there are objections, phone scripts, anything you could imagine. The Troop Family Campaign Chair has also copies of forms, 24-hour-a-day access to all the information on the website. And within the next week or so, this webinar, the recorded version, will also be on the website in case somebody else, decides to help you. They can listen to it at their leisure. The family will receive the self-mailer brochure, and then the special events and local businesses that you might run, business, campaigns. There are sample letters within the training brochure and also on our website. Letters that you can personalize to make them work best for your service unit. Again, plan, remind, and don't forget. Build a strategy. Look at your timeline for your service unit, how you're going to try to get this out to the families before the end of this year. Once again, we know some service units have a very set plan, doing it at registration time during early bird. If that works for you, we're not going to ask you to change it unless you really want to see if this other method works. Encourage families to give $35 per enrolled Girl Scout. That's a suggested number, but a highly suggested number. And ask grandparents, aunts and uncles who might live far away. I mean, they're getting hit up by all of us for the wrapping paper sales, the candy sales, all the different things we do at our schools. Why not think about asking them to support such an important organization, and one that's been around for over 100 years? Don't forget, use the website. Everything that we're talking about now is on the website. We're here to help. Monica supports all of the service units in Dutchess, Putnam, Sullivan, and Westchester counties. I support all of the service units in Orange, Rockland, and Ulster. And our admin, Gloria Martin, is the behind-the-scenes person feverishly inputting into our donor system all of the information that we most certainly hope comes as filled out as possible. Please reach out to us to brainstorm or if you have any questions. Speaking of questions, please type in your questions and we'll have a little session right now. Okay, are all adults background checked or just the volunteers within troops and council? Whenever an adult registers for the first time, they are background checked. And then they're background checked periodically. If you want further details on that, please reach out to Jamie Pratt, the Director of Volunteer Development here at Girl Scouts Heart of the Hudson. That's J as in Jamie or John, Pratt, P-R-A-T-T as in Thomas, at girlscoutshh.org. It's her department that runs the volunteer check process. Is there a way to donate online? Yes. There's two different ways. And this is also on the back of the self-mailer brochure. There'll be the link. When somebody goes directly to our first page of our Girl Scouts Heart of the Hudson website, there's a button that says Donate Now, and you can hit that button, and it'll bring you right through a PayPal process where the person can put in whatever amount they'd like to donate. When they get to the second screen, after they fill out their basic info and they put in the dollar amount, there's a little message box where the donor can put their name, that it's for annual giving, the troop number, the community, the address, and it will get credited to your service unit. And that comes to us from the finance department really within a 24-hour period. Also, when someone registers online through the eBiz system, which is organized via GSUSA, there is a place where they can make a donation. Last year there were some glitches with that because it was a GSUSA system and it was tough to put in a particular amount. This year, starting at $10 and up, the person can put in whatever amount they want, but there is a minimum of $10. If somebody doesn't want to give $10 and they want to give less, then it's best if they go directly from that Donate Now section, that Donate Now button, right on the first page of the website.
Mary Ellen, the next question is, where exactly is the self-mailer going and what address is on it?
The self-mailer brochure that's in the box that every annual giving chair and or service unit manager has received, what happens, the process is the annual giving chair counts out the amount to go to every troop leader. The troop leader gives them out directly to the parents. Parents give them back to the troop leader. Troop leader doesn't open it up. Troop leader gives it to the annual giving chair or the service unit manager or whoever's been designated to handle the deposit portion of the annual giving campaign. However, on the back of all the self-mailer brochures that you've received, your service unit name and number is listed. So the person can also, it becomes an envelope. So the person can also put their check in, fill out their name and address and all that stuff, seal it, and mail it back to Girl Scouts Heart of the Hudson. Our address is there.
The next question is, how do we know if we are a registered volunteer?
You know if you're a registered volunteer because you've paid your $15 and you've registered. You are, an adult member. If you have any questions about that type of stuff, again, speak to Jamie Pratt.
And that is the last question.
Let me just mention one other thing. For those of you who were our annual giving chairs or service unit managers from last year, and those of you who are new, we are just about done tallying all of, proofing and double proofing and reproofing all of the numbers for the campaign that we just ended on September 30th, and reports on the final numbers with a printout of how that each troop did will be going out over the next week or so. And also for reporting for this coming annual giving year that we're in, you'll want to know what's going on so that you could do follow-up. We will be getting our first report out to the service unit manager and or the annual giving chair sometime after the first of the year. That way you have time to respond, to follow up, and at that point we'll see who hasn't given for your service unit, and we'll be doing email blasts and or very targeted mailings to those who haven't given. The next report will go out by the end of March, again to the service unit manager or annual giving chair, and then we'll have another one in the spring. So that's where we're at right now, knowing our dates for reporting.
Okay, Mary Ellen, we have a comment instead of a question. It says, I love the fact that I can show this webinar to my leaders. What a great tool. Good job.
Oh, thank you so much. And it is being recorded, and we will be having it up and available for you to use, as I said, within the next week or so. We work with our Director of Business Operations to have it up online. And I'm glad that you're going to do that. Thank you so much.
There seems to be another question. Let me just pull it up here. It says, are you looking into an updated way to get the figures recorded faster so we can get the numbers quicker?
Well, we use Donor Perfect. It's one of the 2 best fundraising programs in the industry. We need the information to come to us completely filled out. That is the #1 issue. And again, we only have one person who's inputting. We're very, very streamlined here in fund development and in Girl Scouts Heart of the Hudson. 32,000 members and 60-ish employees. We're doing our best. But right now, we just beg of you to please have that information as completely filled out as possible. And it is getting easier and easier. This is, I think, Monica, our 2nd year with Donor Perfect for a full year. We've been able to import through the membership program all of the parents' names over this past summer. registered parents. So that should also help us in terms of not having to, type in names from scratch. That's the best I could tell you right now. It's an ongoing process for us to be more efficient and quicker.
Okay, that's the last question or comment.
Any more? I don't think so. Okay, so to reiterate, we will be typing up all of these questions from today's webinar during the day and this evening's webinar, and questions and answers, and getting them out to all the participants as well as the service unit managers and annual giving chairs who are not able to be on this call. When we do get this up onto our website, then you can use it to do your training. We do thank you very, very much for all you do, for investing in our Girl Scouts, and all you do to build girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. You make a difference. Thank you so much. Call us when you need us or send us an email, and have a good evening.